So then, on some Tinder swindler type stuff, because yeah, he's like Korea's Tinder swindler, or he's trying to be, he decides to say, hey, you know, I would love to come and see you. You should let me fly out. Like, if you pay me the money to fly out, as soon as I get there, I can pay you back. Oh,
he needs some milk.
What's up, idols? It's Cece. It flicked. What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. So, as of today, May 18th, I've been doing YouTube for 5 years now. This whole thing started back in 2018 when I was home at my apartment in Korea, bored by myself, watching news clips and videos on YouTube of BTS performing, was it the American Music Awards or the Billboard Awards? And suddenly I was like, you're starting your YouTube channel now. And I haven't looked back since. Thank you to everybody who watches and subscribes and likes and comments and helps keep the engagement up. Thank you for all the encouragement and the messages, even like the DMs on my Instagram. Follow me there. Where you guys are just so nice and you're like, oh, you've inspired me to travel. Oh, can you give me advice on this? Oh, thank you so much. I'm here now. I'm in Korea and I love it. It just means a lot. So for today's video, it's not going to be too long. This is something that's just snowballed into something I did not expect. So as I've said for the past couple of videos, if you guys have like wild, crazy stories you wanted me to talk about on my channel, to warn other people, to share your stories, email me, cclesson3@yahoo.com. You know, when I used to tell you guys all my story times and my dating club life and all this stuff, I used to think it was just a me thing. I used to think I was the only one that attracted these weirdos and these creeps. But you guys have made me see that, in the wise words of Michael Jackson, so yeah, today's video is another one of these emails. First, this one girl from Spain emailed me and told me everything that happened to her. And then yesterday, I got 2 more emails from 2 other girls, and it's all about the same guy. Different locations. It's Spain, India, and the United States. I'm gonna let you guys know how this all connects. If you get a DM from this dude, block him, report him.
Don't engage.
This dude came at these 3 girls with 3 different background, origin stories. Hi, Cece. I'm a huge fan of yours. Again, thank you, girl. I always watch your videos and I love them all. So I truly never thought that I will write a story because this just recently happened, and more than a love story in all caps. It's more like a be careful out there kind of story. So I'm 26, female from Spain, love from Spain, and I'm always very careful with who I let not only in my life but in my social media. But not a week ago, I got a notification on my Insta that a man was requesting me to accept his invitation. My social media accounts are private. So like, she looks at, you know, this person requesting to follow her, and she sees his bio. So the bio, this is what it says in the bio. I believe no one can be poor. It all comes from what you settle down to achieve. Proudly a worker from Mercedes-Benz. So he's kind of flexing a little bit, you know, I worked hard and it's giving Andrew Tate a little bit, not gonna lie. Red flag. So she said, I didn't accept the friend request for like 2 weeks, plus I couldn't see his face in the profile picture because it was conveniently covered by his phone. A few weeks went by and she decided, you know what, let me just accept this friend request. What harm can it do? So she decided to accept it, and as soon as she did, she said she got a message from him that said, hello.
Hello.
She already felt a little weary about responding because she's like, this goes against everything I stand for, all the precautions I take in life. So he introduces himself as Sonu from Korea. He asks where she's from. So the version of his story that he told her is that he is from Korea but is currently living and working in Thailand because he works at Mercedes-Benz. And then he decided to ask her if she loves surprises and if she loves shopping. So she decided to say, yes, I love shopping, but no, I don't like surprises. Like, who wants to tell some stranger, hey, do you like surprises? That sounds like the setup of a horror movie. Like, surprise, I'm outside your window. And then he decided to tell her, well, you know, maybe I can give you a nice surprise. Creepy. Then he tells her he's 29. So like, it's the basic questions like, where are you from? What do you do? What do you like? This is how old I am. What's your name? You know, how you typically get to know somebody. So then she said the next few days they didn't really talk much, but he did make it clear that he was only trying to make friends. Like, he wasn't trying to pursue her in a romantic way. He just wanted to make friends. But he did ask her like if she was single and mentioned that he had a breakup a year ago. And when he asked her if she was single, she was like, yes, I am single. And then he's like, oh, why would someone as beautiful as you not have a partner? And then she said, leaving aside all the casual talk, you know, he did insist that he wanted to be her friend, but he was also really quick to call her love and dear, which, you know, you don't really call someone you don't know that well love and dear. It's a little creepy.
That's weird.
She kind of wrote off as like a cultural difference, a language difference, so she didn't really think much of it. So then after like 2 days of not getting any reply, not really conversing at all, he hits her up with the, hey, how are you, dear? And she goes, oh, I'm good, thanks. I'm leaving work, about to go home now. So then she said, he then doesn't reply and posts that he was having a bad day and that he was feeling sad. Weird, instead of posting it, he could just say it to me. He doesn't respond, but he posts that, oh, I'm having a bad day. I feel really sad. He replies saying that he was having a problem with a transaction of money from his bank to another bank here in Spain. And she goes, how f***ing convenient. He is from Seoul, based in Thailand, but he has a bank in Spain where she happens to live, and he's having problems with a transaction and needs her help.
Bombastic side eye.
It's giving Nigerian prince.
Hello, my friend. I am the president of a very powerful country. Sadly, I am in need of money to save my people. Send them money, please.
So he asked to borrow 300 euros from her and said he'd give it back to her ASAP. Y'all bold with the scams out here these days. And then she said, I'm literally like the brokest person. She said, what scheme you got going on here? Cause you know, sign me up. I'm broke too. I need some money. She didn't say this to him. She said this to me, like this is what she was thinking. She didn't say anything back to him. She just blocked him immediately after that. And she said that he knew something was off because he unfriended her and he deleted like the whole chat. And then she said, I think he didn't realize how unrealistic he just sounded with a bio that literally says you broke because you want to and just work harder because look at me, I'm proudly in Mercedes-Benz. Even when he has a video on his Instagram in his so-called Mercedes-Benz giving envelopes of money to his workers. And then he's asked me for 300 euros. She emailed this to me May 3rd. So I was just gonna like post his, because she sent me a screenshot of his account and I looked up his name, it's still out there and active, and I was gonna post it. But then I got another email with a very similar story. So this one we'll call girl number 2. Again, people prefer not to be identified and that's totally fine, especially dealing with something like a scam where people are like, you shouldn't have even talked to him and people victim blame. I totally get it. So we'll call her girl 2. And she's from India. Now, where in the first story, in the email I just told you guys about, you know, he came off with like the friendly vibe, like, oh, I just want to be friends. I had a bad breakup. I just want to be friends. But at the same time, you're single. How are you so single? You're gorgeous. And calling her love and dear. Well, this girl says he came out straight flirty. Like he wasn't trying to be her friend. Like he wanted to be with her. This email wasn't as long. You know, she's talking about her life in India and how she's into K-pop and she's always wanted to go. And there was like an Indian K-pop artist. Like she's about to debut, or she did debut. I don't know that much about it, but briefly, this is what we talked about. And how it's her dream and her aspiration because this girl who debuted in Korea as a star was like her inspiration. So she was talking to him about this. And he's saying, oh, I love Slumdog Millionaire and I would love to go to India. The food is amazing. I love curry, you know, all this stuff. So then on some Tinder swindler type stuff, because yeah, he's like Korea's Tinder swindler, or he's trying to be Korea's Tinder swindler. He decides to say, hey, you know, I would love to come and see you. You should let me fly out. Like if you pay me the money to fly out, as soon as I get there, I can pay you back.
Oh, he needs some milk.
So he's like, I can take you to dinner, I can spoil you when I get there, and if it all works out, you can come back to Korea with me.
What?
So, you know, she kind of goes along with it a little bit. She's like, oh, well, like, how much would it cost for you to fly out here from Korea? He gives her a number, roughly, she didn't tell me. They're kind of planning it, but she's also like, what the fuck, like trying to catch him in a lie. She's asking him questions like more than once and trying to like go back, like, why do you need this? Oh, but didn't you say this? So his background to her is he doesn't work in Thailand or anything. He from Korea, lives in Korea, but does work at Mercedes-Benz. She said he would send her pictures of him like in his Mercedes and bragging about like, oh, look at all this success I've acquired. So she found it really odd that he needed money from her to fly him out to India, and then he could just pay her when he got there. So then she didn't respond because she's like, this is weird, like I'm not stupid. So then he sends her a message saying he feels sorry for Indian people because Indian people are so poor and they're in such poverty, great poverty. He just went from asking her for money to trashing her for not giving him money. I can't make this shit up. So after that, she said that he blocked her and that was the last that she heard from him. And then we get skipped to this third girl that emailed me. Now, girl 3 is from the US, and she said that it was more like a pen pal thing. He said he wanted to do language exchange, even though he told her that while he lives in Korea and he's from Korea, he grew up in the US. So I don't know why you need language exchange or pen pal. Whatever, it's his lie, right? So like he sends her a message. Her account wasn't private or anything, so he could see like her backstory. I guess he could see what she posted, and he was like talking about it, like, oh, you went to Korea, oh, like, did you like this concert, what artist do you like asking her a lot about Korea and K-pop and what got her interested in everything. So, you know, when you have an interest in something, you like to talk about it. You know, somebody asked me about the clouds and the skies. I grew up obsessed with meteorology, so I'm gonna talk about it. I'm like, oh my god, and da-da-da, and just go off, and oh, cumulonimbus formation. So then, you know, he asked her if she's ever dated a Korean person, and she said no. Then he said, oh good, like Korean people are bad, and talks about how his ex cheated on him and how he was contemplating moving back to the States so he could get away from her because she was stalking him after he dumped her for cheating on him. I'm trying to beautiful mind this and keep up with everything. So yeah, he gave her the sob story and everything, and she's like, oh my god, like, you poor thing, like, that sucks, that sounds awful. And she's really young, so she's like, I never really had an official relationship yet, so she couldn't really relate to too much that he was complaining about, but she could listen and offer condolences.
Sorrows, prayers.
So then he says while he is planning to move back to the States, and because he grew up in the States, he still has his active American bank account, and he says that he's having issues with a transaction and needs to borrow $450, and he'll give it back to her as soon as possible when he gets back there. Because he conveniently has a trip coming up to the US and he can just meet her and give it to her in person. But mind you, he just kept it broad and vague. He just said, I'm coming to the US. The US is a big ass country. He didn't say if he was going to New York or Chicago, Missouri, Florida, Utah, Texas. He didn't say where. He just said, I'm going to the US. And she said, you know, she knows people are crazy out there, so she never posts like where she lives or what she's doing. So he has no idea where she is, and that's why he never specified, like, yeah, I'm actually coming to New York. I see that you live in New York. He kept that vague. But mind you, she's young, so to someone who's a little bit older, they probably would just be more quick to shut this down, but she's still really young. So she's just like, oh my god, like, when are you coming to the States? What part of the States are you coming to? And he started to get frustrated by her asking him these questions over and over again. First of all, I don't know how he was expecting to get $450 from this young girl. She was like 18, 19. Usually students at the time are working part-time somewhere, so I don't know where $450 where? And she's like, look, I'm really sorry, but I don't have that kind of money. I feel for you, and I would help if I can, but you know, I'm here to listen. He don't want an ear, he want the money. So like, he gets mad and he snaps at her. So then he goes, oh, you don't trust me, you're just like my ex, why would I lie? I really want to meet you. I can't believe you're doing me this way. You're being a stupid, selfish, fat bitch. And then he blocked her. What started off as like a one-off email where I thought I would just blast his Instagram. By the way, here's a screenshot of his Instagram. The freaking Tinder swindler of Korea. Because if you guys have seen the Tinder swindler, it was this guy who would use other women's money to like flaunt and pretend to have this life to impress other women and trick them into giving more money, and just he kept building on to this wealth and acquiring this fake wealth by, oh, I'll fly you out on this jet, but that jet money is money he just conned from another girl, and he keeps them on the hook and breadcrumbs them like, yeah, you know, once I come into my inheritance or whatever his scheme was, then, you know, I'll pay you back and you can move in with me and we'll get married. So that's what this dude was trying to do. Yet a poor person is only poor because they choose not to work hard, and he's proudly working at Mercedes-Benz.
Sorry, what I meant to say was, get the f out of here, man.
Be careful, ladies. Thanks for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.